right, we are back.
We are back and loving all of these viewers who are giving us feedback and commenting and coming into the office to sign our petition for property taxes, which then leads to other conversations. So we had a gentleman who came in and he is like, oh my goodness, I want to know whatever happened with the householder situation. And I think this was spurred because AES just did a request for rate increase.
Yeah, where they requested 14%. I think they settled on 9%. So that's in addition to, I think the gas companies have also requested an increase. So your utilities are going up.
Great, just what we need.
Yeah.
So our lovely co-host here, Ellie, did a deep dive, and she's got some information to give us on this topic. So
today we are going to dive into one of the largest political scandals in Ohio history to date. And that is the criminal case against former House Speaker Larry Householder and all of the controversy surrounding House Bill 6.
Okay.
So in 2019, Ohio lawmakers passed House Bill 6, which was a sweeping piece of energy legislation. On the surface, it looked like the bill designed to protect Ohio jobs and ensure affordable energy. But that really wasn't the case, because behind the scenes, House Bill 6 became the centerpiece of a massive $60 million bribery and racketeering scheme.
Wow.
One that would eventually bring down one of the state's most powerful politicians.
And there we are.
Yeah. So I feel like if you didn't really follow politics, you didn't see this much.
Right.
You didn't really know what was going on. Oh, just another corrupt politician. We've got
It was
those
just
locally. We've got them
short clip.
state. Yeah.
Right.
And you would, and there's so much time in between every time it pops up in the news that you're like, oh yeah, that again? You know, like even
Right.
if you did see it.
Right.
So, and a lot of people don't realize that this really affected you and affected your taxes and everything that you paid because the House passes the state budget. So, what was exactly House Bill 6? It did a few key things. It provided a $1 billion bailout to 2 struggling nuclear power plants in Ohio. It gave subsidies to some coal plants, and at the same time, it cut funding for renewable energy and energy-efficient programs. The supporters argued that the bill was about saving jobs and securing reliable power, but the critics said it was a corporate handout and undermined clean energy.
And so therefore, is there any accountability in what it actually did?
So if you look kind of party lines, Democrats are more clean energy, solar power, battery operated cars, you know, that stuff. Where Republicans are more coal plants and natural resources.
Yeah.
So this clearly was a majority Republican problem. However, there was money from First Energy given to both sides.
Okay.
So the alleged scheme, now enter Larry Householder. At the time, he was the most powerful Republican Speaker of the Ohio House. Federal prosecutors say Householder and several associates funneled $60 million from First Energy, which was the utility company that stood to benefit from this bailout, into a dark money group controlled by Householder.
So isn't that similar to what we're hearing now, where if the political person is going to benefit from a bill or passage of something that's a conflict of interest? Like they can't be involved in that?
You would think.
Would that be normal to think that?
You would think. So the money was allegedly used to help Householder get elected as Speaker and fund campaigns for him and his political allies, and to defeat the opponents that stood in the way of House Bill 6 passing. So in return, prosecutors say Householder pushed the bill through for legislation, ensuring that First Energy got its bailout. And the scheme was so large and so organized that federal investigators described it as the largest public corruption case in Ohio history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not what we want to be known for.
Right. So if you look at current politicians that are still in office today, I am not, as a disclaimer, I'm not saying that they were part of this scheme, but both DeWine and John Husted got money from First Energy as well.
Wow.
For their campaigns. Yeah. Along with
Others.
multiple others. Yeah. So in July of 2020, the FBI arrested Householder and several associates. The charges included racketeering conspiracy, essentially operating a criminal enterprise through bribery and money laundering. And then in March of 2023, after a high-profile trial, Householder was found guilty.
Okay.
Which normally, if the feds bring charges against you,
It's serious?
they got a case. He was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison, which was the maximum allowed.
Okay.
Another key figure, who was lobbyist Matt Borges, received a 5-year sentence. First Energy itself admitted to paying the bribes, and in 2021, the company entered into a deferred prosecution agreement, agreeing to pay a $230 million penalty.
So where's that money? Did we actually collect that?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be nice to see on the budget?
Right. And if they already had struggling power plants, now they have to pay $230 million. I don't know how much it costs to fix a power plant,
Right.
but I feel like that money could have gone to help their power plant.
Like you can pay this, but you couldn't do that?
Right.
Yeah, I getcha.
So kind of the fallout after the whole criminal trial was parts of House Bill 6 were repealed after the scandal broke, but not all of it.
Yeah.
The nuclear bailout provisions were stripped, but subsidies for coal plants and plants that emit millions of tons of carbon dioxide each year still remain in place.
Okay.
So even though the corruption was exposed, the legacy of House Bill 6 still shapes Ohio energy policy to this day, August of 2025.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff. Well, thanks for diving into that.
Yeah, and I feel like the Larry Householder case is just a reminder of how much power and influence utility companies, PACs, basically money has to do with state politics and trickle down.
Right.
Well, it starts federal, lobbyists, and trickle down. So, and it also shows how corruption doesn't just cost taxpayers in dollars, but it loses trust, weakens policy, and then makes damage to the confidence in government, which is why people are questioning. And I feel like this case really was one of the first in recent years where people were like, wait a minute.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's basically the Larry Householder case in a nutshell.
Very good. Well, we'll follow up and see if there's any, is he eligible for parole?
I don't know.
And is he forever banned in getting into politics?
I believe that was part of it. In federal, I believe you have to do 90%.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like
Yeah. Before you can get out. So, I
Good
mean,
stuff.
he got 20 years, and that was only 2 years ago.
You're right.
Yeah, so he's gone for a while. I remember the case in the news, and there was talks like he bought a house in Florida with money and all kinds of, personal benefiting, not just campaign
Hopefully
benefiting.
all of that gets clawed back and he has
Right.
to repay, right?
Yeah, and I believe that he is not the first House Speaker indicted in Ohio.
From Ohio? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
Yep.
that might be another follow-up then.
Yeah, right?
And so when your utility charges go up this year, which they will,
You need to reach out to your House representatives that represent you, let me make that clear, and let them know.
yeah, stop
Exactly what you
supporting
think.
these increases with not giving the benefit to the people. Mm-hmm. It's all about the people.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us today on the Real Tea Podcast. If you enjoyed the knowledge and entertainment today, please subscribe and share with your friends. We will be embarking on a journey that bridges the gap between realtors and clients, uncovering the heart and tea of real estate.